visible to everyone, right? Could you please respond?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, right?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. So guys, just we'll wait for 5 more minutes. So maybe a few more guys will be joining soon. So after that, we'll start. Okay. Hope this is fine for you, everyone, right? Hope
You're
this
right. It's fine.
okay. So we'll start, guys. So guys, everyone, good evening, guys. So even though it is Sunday, so most of the people joined through online around, it hits around 90 plus. So thanks for the team for joining the session. Okay, so today we'll be starting with the JUnit workshop. So myself, Srinivas Reddy Challa. So welcome to Ashok IT, guys. Okay, so to start with JUnit, what are all the basic requirements? What is the prerequisites for learning? What are all the prerequisites for learning JUnit? So to start with JUnit, you need to have a basic knowledge on Java, and if you have knowledge up to 1.5 also enough. 1.5 version is enough, but hope everyone had the knowledge on JDK 1.8, right? Java 1.8. So till people are comfortable with JDK 1.8 version, right? Now, so to start with, so in real-time applications, so I won't much focus on theory, so I will concentrate on the practical part, how you are implemented, right? So hope everyone are good with basic Java concepts, right? So I don't want guys to be complete knowledge also, fine. So only you need to have a basic core Java knowledge, right? Hope everyone are good with basic Java, right? Can I?
Yes.
Good. Right. Now, so let's say I have a small requirement, guys. Okay. Let's say, and I'm passing the input like this as a string. Let's say, and I'm passing input value EARTH, something like that. So we'll start with a couple of basic examples, then we'll moving forward to real-time scenarios. So, and I'm expecting output. And I'm expecting an output, which is also in the format of a string. So my requirement is whatever the input you are supplying, that should be concatenated with some pipe symbol, followed by reverse of that value, H, T, R, A, E. So this is my basic requirement. Okay. So assume this is some basic user story, which you have to implement. Okay. Right. Basic user story. And in that you are getting an input and you are getting an output, which is concatenated with a reverse value. This is only the expected. So generally in normal applications, while we are practicing, maybe you are writing one normal function and you might perform the business logic. But whenever we are developing real-time applications, you need to concentrate on one component. So generally you might heard about test-driven development, TDD. Have you heard about a term called TDD? What do you mean by that? Test-driven development. So you need to think about the test cases, and then you need to implement the code so that you won't get any issues while you are deploying the code into your production. Okay, right. Now, so what are all the test cases you need to consider? What if at all you are passing, what if you are supplying a null input? So possible, right? What should be returned? Okay. So this point you need to consider, right? Now, what if whatever the input you are supplying, that is an empty string? What if the input supplied is an empty string, right? So you need to consider about these points or not. So you need to think about these test cases. right? So while you are talking about test-driven development, you need to consider about positive scenario, as well as negative scenario, as well as negative scenario. So do you agree with me now? So hope everyone are with me so far, right? Am I correct or not, guys? Now, so when I'm going to complete whatever the code you are developed is completed. So I'm as a lead, let's say I'm working as a technology lead or project manager. So you guys are working under a technology lead and you guys are implementing this scenario. So whether directly the code what you have implemented, will I accept? Can you expect you guys to me, whatever the code you guys are submitted, that will be accepted by me directly? So anything I have to check, whatever the code you submitted in that? Can you guess? Any answer for that? So as a lead or as a manager, whenever and I'm checking your code, so I won't consider if you complete only the business requirement. If you are taking the input as a and it is returning whatever the expected value. So if it gives the expected output, then your business requirement is completed, right? But I won't accept with only the business requirement. As a lead, what or as a manager, what are all the things I would expect from the developer, right? So it should be developed with respect to TDD, right? And JUnit testing is done or completed, and coding standards and best practices are followed, and best practices are followed. Logging is implemented. Then only I will consider the code is completed. So whether the code is developed with TDD rules, JUnit test cases are completed or not, coding standards and best practices are followed or not, logging is implemented or not, and what else will be considered? Code coverage report. So generally we might use a component called, I will tell you later in the session. So ECL code coverage. So then only we'll consider the code is completed. So hope everyone are with me so far, right?
Yes.
Right. Yes. So anyone, any question till here? You guys are able to follow me or?
Yes, it's fine.
Yes,
Right. So is the face is good or fast?
It's okay.
Okay, right. So if you have any questions, you can chat in that. Okay, right. So then only I will consider the code is completed, right? So let's say I will go with the implementation. So let's say how and I'm consider for that requirement. So just and I'm taking this. Let's write a code here. Basic code. So everyone are good and comfortable with java.lang.string class, right? Or string buffer and string build. So that is only the requirement. So let's say I'm going with a method called public. So it should return a value called string. And let's say the method name is get a mirror image or something like that. Now in that, and I'm passing string as an input image, right? Maybe let's go with a protocol. So generally we'll go with an interface. So in that interface, we are going with a method, or we can go with a implementation class. So this is my prototype. So this is my prototype, right? Prototype, right? Now, will this method satisfy my requirement? Will this method satisfy my requirement? No. So what if at all you are supplying a null input, right? It should throw a null pointer exception. It should throw a null pointer exception. Guys, you're able to follow me? Throws null pointer exception, right? Maybe you can go with some user defined exception also. Okay, right. So we'll go for implementation. We'll go for implementation. So now I'm taking an Eclipse. Now I'm creating one Java project, new Java project here. Maybe, and I'm creating Java project with the name of JUnit workshop underscore Ashok IT, right? So I'm taking the Java version 1.8. Just click on next, finish, right? So you guys directly start and going with coding, right? So generally, maybe you are going with a class called, maybe you can go with a com dot session dot JUnit, right? And maybe you go with a class called demo, right? So maybe you can go with a main method, right? So SYSO, I am from main method. Let's say, and I'm going with one more SYSO, end of main method. So, and I'm not needed any package, even though what I'm doing by mistake or wantedly or by mistake, I have imported java.util.scanner class. Assume something like that. So in this case, is there any need of scanner for me? No, right? And is the lines of code is formatted? Is the lines of code is formatted? No. So you guys, what will do? Just directly creating one simple Java project and you start writing the code. But what we used to do, we used to create a project first and then right click on that project. First step we used to follow always, whether it is a simple A+B program also. And I'm creating a Java project, right clicking on that Java project, going to the properties. In that, and I'm going to click an option called Java editor. So inside of that, and I'm selecting save actions, enable project specific settings, perform the selected actions on the save, format source lines, organize imports, additional actions, apply and close for entire project one time. So then come here and enter and just click on Control S. So hope you guys observed, right? What is happening? Any unused imports are there in your project? Any unused imports are there inside of this .class file, .java file, that will be eliminated automatically, and the lines of code is automatically formatted. So in case any predefined annotations like @override annotations and all needed, those will be added automatically by the Eclipse, right? So will it be an added advantage for us to develop the code, right? Am I correct or not? So first we'll do this, right? So what we are supposed to do, just right click on that project, go to properties, check on Java editor, save actions. And if you don't want to do this, again, you can uncheck this. Now, and I'm clicking on that, enable project specific settings, perform the selected actions on the save, format source code, format all lines or only the edited lines, organize imports, additional actions, apply and close. Hope you got it. right? So in case if at all you wanted to enable Java documentation comments, just you can go with Java documentation comments. Later, in case any project and I'm going to deal at the time, I will cover. So, and I'm at this point of time and I'm leaving that just and I'm going with Java editor and I'm using save actions and I'm enabling the save as a project specific settings, right? Clicking on apply and close. This is one-time activity for entire project. Hope you got it right. Right now, so let me check whether it is running or not. Just a basic example only, right? Now what I'm doing, so we'll go with our mirror image, new class. So the class name is string utility or string example one, something like that. Yes, we'll do that, right? Now, so let's go here, string utility class, click on finish. Now let's write a method here. So what is the method we are talking about? Right? So I don't want to go with abstract method, no? Just I wanted to go with the implementation method. Now, right? Now just return null. Now see here, lines of code is getting formatted. But is there any Java documentation for these methods? No, right? So let's go to your string class. Click on string class. So have you noticed Java documentation comments here for each and every method, right? And class, same thing. If you wanted to do so for your user-defined classes, then what we are supposed to do? Same, right click on that project, go to properties, go to Java compiler, click on Java doc. This is also one-time activity for the project. Enable project specific settings. So Java doc comments here, see here, malformed Java document comments. Instead of ignore, you can go with error. Then only it makes Java developer to must and shouldly go with the documentation comments. Otherwise, it will give you a compile time error. So you can go with any of the settings. Generally, we used to go with error, right? So only for entire things or whatever, right? Right. So click on error, apply. Yes, apply and close. Now see here, it is giving a compile time error. Reason, you are not giving Java documentation comments. Then it is forcing the Java developer to give the Java documentation comments. So add Java doc comment. So who is the author and whatever the class level commentation you wanted to give, you can give that. And whatever the method level commentation you wanted to give, you can give that. Otherwise, they should throw compile time error. This is how we are going to work with a Java documentation comment. Now see here, every class and method is expected to have a Java documentation, right? Hope you understood, right? Then only Eclipse is forcing you to write the Java documentation comments. So if you don't have that settings, even though you are not writing, it won't give you any compile time error and everyone will take this for granted. Okay. So if you wanted to follow the real-time implementation guidance, then you need to enable this one, Java documentation, right? Okay, Adi. Guys, any more question till here? No. So you guys will do that, right? Now, generally, you might write some code, right? So maybe converting the code, right? So let's go with the code requirement. So let me write the code, okay? So the requirement is so simple, right? So let's say, and I'm going with string output image equal to null, right? So now I'm going to take a output image, return value, right? Now what I'm doing, so what is the requirement? So what I'm going to take output image equal to input image concat, simple requirement only, pipe symbol, right? And it should be concatenated with, the reverse of the string. So is there any direct reverse method in string? There is no direct reverse method. Then what you are supposed to do, can go with a string builder or string buffer, right? And take that input image. So in that we are having a reverse method, right? Now reverse is done. Now still it is giving compile time error. Why it is giving compile time error? That string class concat method is accepting only the string. But here what you supplied, you supplied a string builder object. So it is not accepted. Then you can convert into a toString. Hope you got it right. Now let me go with the output image, right? So this is the requirement, guys. So simple one-liner, right? Simple one-liner. Okay. So just and I'm going with the main method here later, and I'm taking out the main method. So just and I'm going with the main method, right? So create an object of string utility, understanding purpose, guys. Or otherwise, anyhow, take this main method. Anyhow, demo, I have a main method, right? So just and I'm going with an object, sorry, string utility equal to new string utility, right? And utility dot get mirror image method, and we are passing the value EARTH, right? And it is returning a string value. So capture that string value or store that string returned string value output image into a string variable, and you can print SYSO output image, right? Let me run this. So, and I'm getting the expected output, right? So this is simple requirement only, right? But is this code is correct? In real-time scenario, whenever as a team lead, or if at all I'm working as a team lead or project manager, shall I accept this code? I won't accept this code. So why I'm not accepting the code? But what will happen if that input is null value here and I'm giving null value, right? Will you have handled that null value properly? As a developer, you are not handling the null exception, right? You are not handling that, right? Hope you got it. So what you're supposed to do if the input is null? So the test case is not satisfied, right? Right. So you need to write in a test-driven development, right? Now what I'm doing before that, and I'm checking if input image is equal to null, or input image is blank. If is blank is in which version? Maybe JDK 11 version. Just and I'm going with a is empty, right? Then and I'm throwing null pointer exception. Throw new null pointer exception. So and I'm passing. Don't pass null values or empty string as an input, some user defined message, right? Now, and I'm handling that, right? Maybe, and I'm going with some null value, right? Let me run this. So we are giving user defined error message, right? So what do you mean by exception handling? Converting the predefined error messages into user understandable format, or doing an alternate code in order to recover from that error scenario is said to be an exception handling. So what do you mean by exception handling? Converting predefined error messages into user understandable format, or doing an alternate code in order to recover from that error scenario is said to be an exception handling. So I have handled the exception, right? So, and I'm writing in a TDD code, right? So, okay. The first point is business requirement is satisfied. The first point is business requirement is satisfied. It is satisfied, right? Yes. So whether code is implemented in the format of a test-driven implementation, yes. So JUnit test cases still not did. Coding standards and best practices are followed. Now I have followed that. Then logging is implemented. No, I didn't implement the logging, right? Now, what do you mean by logging? What do you mean by logging? So if you wanted to test or debug that, so will you be able to debug that? So what is the input which that method is getting? What is the output which that method is producing? Where that business logic is failed? So such type of thing you never performed, right? So for that, you need to go with a logging. Maybe in real-time applications, you might heard a concept called log4j file or log file, right? So what do you mean by logging? Logging is nothing but recording the activities of your application. Recording the activities of your application for better debugging, testing, etc. Right? So recording the activities of your application, right? So in Java, maybe you can go with a java.util.logger class, or maybe in real-time applications, we can go with a log4j framework, which is given by Apache community, or you guys will go with a frameworks given logging mechanisms, right? So for simple, and I'm going with a system.out.println. Remember, guys, in real-time applications, it is not suggestible to use SYSO statements and e.print stack trace messages, right? Why? Because these things will return the messages into a console. So later, if you wanted to test and debug the application, it is not possible. Why? Because always that console messages will be overridden in the server, right? So it is always go with a log4j mechanism. So what do you mean by logging? Recording the activities of your application, right? So just for understanding purpose, now I'm going with a SYSO statement, but in real-time applications, it is not suggestible to use system.out.println messages and e.print stack traces. So those are all priority level 1 bugs. If at all we are going with static code analyzer tools called program mistake detector, or maybe sonar lint or sonar cube, etc. Okay, so for understanding purpose, and I'm going with the SYSO statements, don't consider me wrong, right? Right. So just, and I'm going with a string, and I'm declaring a variable string final method underscore name. This is only for testing and debugging, recording the activities of your application. Get mirror image, right? Now I'm writing system.out.println method invoked. So in which class? This dot get class dot get name method name. And what is the input which you are receiving from this method? What is the input we are receiving from this method? Input image. Okay. So nothing much. What I'm doing for better handling, and I'm logging the activities of the application, right? Now, and I'm going with system.out.println the response from the method. Response from the method, or you can go with a method response. In if at all you are going with log4j framework, this one is not required. This dot get class dot get name is not required. Okay, so that framework will tell you in which class that logging we are performing. Okay, get name, and what is the response we are returning from this method output image. Done. Hope you understood, right? Now let me run this demo. Now we are able to follow, right? Now give me a minute. Now EARTH. Now let me run this. Now by seeing this console, you are able to understand, right? Which method is called in string utility class. Get mirror image method is invoked, and this method is receiving input as earth, and that method is successfully responded with a return value. Now, so by seeing these SOS messages or logging messages, will you be able to test and debug the application in case if at all you are facing any issues in real time, right? So that is the use of logging. So what is the use of logging? Recording the activities of your application, right? So hope you understood, right? Till now understood, right? Guys, any questions here?
Oh, very good.
Everyone. So respond, please.
Okay. Can you explain again that logging scenario?
Just give me a minute, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Now, so what do you mean by logging, right? Logging. So recording the activities of your application. So with the help of this, better readability, better debugging, and better testing. You can test your application, right? So recording the activities of your application. So which method is it calling, and what is the input we are receiving, and what is the response you are receiving from that method, whether you are getting a null value or whether you are getting a actual input, like that. So to test and debug your application, we need to record the activities of your application. So for doing that, we are going to use a Log4j framework in real-time applications, right? And in frameworks, we can go with a Apache given Log4j framework or frameworks given its own logging frameworks. So what do you mean by logging? Recording the activities of your application so that you can better test your code and debug the code in case if at all you're getting any real-time issues. Okay. Hope you understood, right? Now, so generally we do with Log4j mechanism, but here and I'm going with the SYSO statements.
So you're saying that some frameworks are there, right?
Yes.
Depends on the project.
Yes, that's what. So
They will implement us.
see, if at all you are going with a basic servlets and JSP application, so or just core Java application in java.util.star package, there is a class called logger class. Okay. So that is a singleton class. So make use of that. But if at all you are giving third-party given Log4j frameworks, you will get better options comparing to java.util.logger class. So generally in real-time applications, so Apache Tomcat given Log4j framework people will use, that is a open source library or framework. And then in Spring, Struts and all frameworks almost comes with its own logger mechanisms. So you can make use of that, or you can use that Apache given logging mechanism, Log4j framework. So it's a open source one. Okay. So all we used to do, record the activities of your application so that it is easy for you to test and debug the applications.
Okay. I have one more doubt. I
Yes.
have here somewhere dev framework is there, right? What is the mean of dev framework? While developing a project, they are
See,
using some.
generally application will be developed in one mode only, but in real-time environment, we do deploy that applications in different modes. So if the
Okay.
code is implemented and that features are tested, then it will be go into a live mode that will be called as production. And
Okay.
in case of new features are going to be implemented or change requests are done, at the time we do deploy that applications in development environment. And for testing, you can go with a UAT environment like that. So in real-time companies, we do deploy that applications in different environments so that that actual live code is not getting affected. Okay, so in case if you wanted to test, if you test on production, then let's say you are working on ICICI Bank project and you are testing directly testing the live application of ICICI Bank server and you did small mistake, then what happened? Entire client business will go for toss. Am I
Yeah.
correct or not? So
Yeah.
that's we have different environments. Production environment that will be called as live environment, and then we'll have development environment, UAT environment, testing
Okay.
environment, etc.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
Done. Now, so see, now what I did previously, you don't have these SYSO statements and all, right? You don't have these SYSO statements and all, right? That means you are not doing logging in that application, right? Now this application will run and you will get the output, but you don't know whether which method is called and what is the input you have supplied and what is the response we are getting from that. So main method started, main method ended, and you got the output, right? But which method is invoked? That won't be known by anyone, right? So what if we wanted to go for testing and debugging the application, right?
Yes.
So this is not for end user, this is for developers community, okay?
Okay.
And support guys, okay? So at the time of, see, later, let's say, sir, what is this, sir? I used to develop this code, my core functionality is completed. But after that, if you wanted to rewrite logging or if you wanted to rewrite testing, so how much time it will take? Again, you guys come back and you need to start working on that, right? So that's where while implementing itself, you need to follow coding standards and best practices, logging and JUnit, right? So otherwise, entire cycle will repeat. Am I correct or not? So that's where we used to tell, start implementing. Even though you are writing A plus B code, you need to start with all the best practices, whatever we need to follow in real time. Now, so few lines of code might increased, but it improves your application readability and testing and debugging features. Okay, hope you understood, right?
Yes.
Right. Guys, any question till here?
Yes.
Yes, Sri.
Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead. Yes, Srinivas, I have one
Yeah.
quick question on this one.
Mm.
For in JUnit framework,
Mm.
it will provide the best practices. Which best practice we need to
No, no,
follow
no.
it?
See, JUnit won't give any best practices. And I'm talking
Okay.
about best practices. What are the best practices we used to follow while writing the Java development code? Okay, so there might be a few best practices while you are designing the test cases, but JUnit never talks about best practices. So to talk about best practices and coding standards, we used to go with a Sonar or PMD, program mistake detectors, static code analyzer tools.
These are not freeware, this license
No,
tool,
no.
right?
So program mistake detector, Sonar lint, those are all open source only, right?
Okay. And
Okay.
they will provide the JUnit test cases if you want to automatically we can get the test cases
No,
from
no,
using those tools.
no. So PMD, Sonar lint, those used to test coding standards violations like naming conventions, method naming conventions, class naming conventions, whether whatever the resources you open, those will be closed or not, variable naming convention, method naming convention, package naming convention, etc. right?
Okay. Or we cannot add the boundary conditions or like plus positive test cases or negative
No.
test cases,
See,
or
for performing the testing and all, we need to go with a JUnit framework, right? So till now, I didn't add any unit test case here. I didn't perform any testing. Just I started with what is the way to write basic Java programming in real-time applications. Now the next step, and I'm going for explaining what is the importance of.
okay, got it. So best practice, we need to figure it out.
Yes.
Then
See,
those things will,
for
this tool
every
will not.
Yes. So for everything, we need to follow the best practices given by the developers community or the framework community. Hope you understood. So
Yeah,
for
got it.
core Java, we have some coding standards and best practices, right? So maybe
Okay.
or to avoid that out of memory errors, right? So gap-based collection related
Collections.
scenarios,
Okay.
performance related scenarios. See, for JSP, for servlets, for every technology, there might be few best practices to be addressed, and you need to cope up with that. So that will comes along with your practice and real-time implementation.
Right, got it. So any like if we Selenium also will not provide those best practice, like
Yes.
JUnit and Selenium are almost like
Only for testing. To test your whatever the code you have implemented as a developer.
okay. But Selenium is the licensed one tool, right?
Selenium is the license. Hope it is also open source. I'm not that much sure.
Okay.
But
Okay.
as per my knowledge, Selenium is open source.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Srinivas. Thank you.
Yeah, good guys. So any more questions? Okay, done. Now, what are all the things we addressed? We addressed business requirement. We addressed test-driven development, right? So we checked about coding standards and best practices. So see here, nothing much I followed. I followed naming convention. See here, class naming convention, package naming convention, method naming convention. So I have given the Java documentation command, and I'm going with the final variable as a constant, each and every character, capital case letter, etc. So, and I'm going with the test-driven development. What if the input which I am receiving is an empty or a null value? And finally, the business logic is implemented. So I return the exact value. So after that, and I'm going with the logging, recording the activities of my application. So what is the method invoked, and what is the input received, and what is the output which is responded with. Okay. Now, hope you understood, right? Now, so this is also done. Guys, just and I'm going with core Java only, nothing much I have added here. Hope you understood. But only the thing, and I'm addressing what is the way to write effective code which is fit into your real time and making you as a good Java developers. Hope you understood, right? So I didn't add any extra feature till now. So just and I'm in core Java only. Hope you got it.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes. Yeah, tell me.
Just for a curiosity purpose, I have a question. Like,
Yeah.
could you open the code of yours?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Might be sound silly, but just
Yeah.
for my line number 31, you have declared a string as a final. Could you let me know the reason behind it? Like why you have on line number 13?
Yes.
Why you have declared string as a final over here?
See, not only string as a final, here don't consider and I'm making string class as final. So anyhow, string class is final. So whatever the argument which I'm passing, and I'm making this reference as a final. Okay. So in coding standards, we have a best practices. We used to make that arguments, whichever we are supplying, those are all final arguments, so that those values are not getting altered. So can you check once why most of the times we are supplying final values as method arguments? Okay.
So, thank you.
Okay. Hope you understood, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That is industry standard?
Yes. So check once why we are most of the times we are supplying.
Yeah, because like I
as
haven't seen like some valid he's using finite variable and I'm not sure whether it's industry practice or not. I need to check that once.
Yes, check once, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
good question and good observation, right? So the thing, we are already habituated to do that. Already we have experience in implementing the code, right? So automatically my hand will go with coding standards and best practices only. So if at all you are seeing most of the times, 98% of time, I won't miss coding standards and best practices. I won't remember, but already we are habituated, right? So our hands will do the things. Okay.
Yeah, but this will be good for us. We will get a new learning from you.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, right. Now, so this is addressed, right? Logging is addressed. Now, what are all the few more things we need to be addressed? One is JUnit test, right? And code coverage. So I will tell you what is that. Okay. So what do you mean by testing? Right? So and I'm not going with any official definitions on all. So what do you mean by testing? Simple. So let's say assume after this completion of this workshop, and I'm going to have some snacks or I'm going to have some dinner. Okay. So my wife is, I'm expecting my wife is preparing a good dinner. Okay. So before I started eating, I used to check whether salt and the chili powder, whatever she mixed, whether it is up to my expectation or not. That is basic testing. Am I correct or not? Whatever you do, right? We used to test, right? Right. Otherwise, let's say you girls are going to some party.
Samples.
Yeah. So just for fun, and I'm telling ma, okay. So don't get angry on me. Okay. So let's say my wife is asking me to purchase some what is that? Party wear dresses or something like that, or sarees. Okay. So and I'm checking the budget. So maybe 3,000, 5,000 or 10,000, right? If at all a party wear. Okay, let it be. But the thing, the blouse will be more costlier than a saree. Isn't it? Saree cost is 3,000 or 5,000. That blouse stitching cost will go to beyond 6 to 15K, right? That's all girl style, right? Just for fun. Okay. And after that, before going to party, and they will stand in front of a mirror and they will test whether it is fit or not 100 times. And after that, they used to call us for testing. And if at all we are telling yes or no, they are telling they are listening, but they won't listen. They will go with their own choice only, but only for namesake, they are taking our opinions, isn't it? It's girl thing. No one can stop this. It's a girl thing, just for fun, guys. So anything we need to go for testing, right? Right? Guys, madams, just I told this for fun. Okay, right? So testing, I don't want to go for any official definitions or net definitions and all. What do you mean by testing? So whatever we are giving an input, we are expecting an output. That output is in the format of our expectation or not. That's where we used to go for, right? So generally, as a developer, we need to go for test the code what you have implemented on your own, right? So why we need to test our code, right? So let's say as a developer, so what is my intention? Hey, it is just a simple reverse method, reverse requirement I have implemented. So my code is working 1,000%, not even 100%. We are assuming our code is working 1,000 times better than others, right? So we are in a positive attitude, right? But if at all we are handovering the code to the tester, he will assume and he will start with negative thinking. So these developers are waste. These guys don't know how to implement. These guys don't know how to satisfy user requirements. With that intention, developers will start, testers will start whatever the code you guys have implemented, right? So before handovering that, so that is always best for us to test the code, whatever we are implemented on our own. So that's where, as a Java developer, we do go with a JUnit testing, right? So first of all, what do you mean by unit testing? What do you mean by unit testing? What do you mean by unit?
One more.
The small code of the small function or the small method or the activity you have implemented, that is a unit. Let's say I have a requirement. So let's say I'm going to develop an application called pharma management system, right? So in that pharma management system, so my requirement is, and I'm going to add a batch into DB, okay, into database. So this is my requirement. Let's say, and I'm getting some batch value object as an argument. Okay, so this is my task. So before that, and I'm going to do validation. So whether batch code is in valid format or not. So expiry date and manufacturing dates are in up to the mark. Medicine code is available, some validations. And I need to contact DAO and to insert into database, right? This total together is a unit of work. Am I correct or not? The method or the unit of work. So in that method, maybe some service layer might involve, maybe some DAO layer might involve, maybe few other methods might involve, but the requirement is satisfied or not. So unit is a basic functionality. Am I correct or not? Right.
Yes.
Hope you understood, right?
No. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, are you able to hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you. Actually, I joined late, so I just wanted to ask that you are explaining JUnit with Selenium this time?
No, just we are going with a plain JUnit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Right. Guys, can I continue further? Yes. Right. Now, so this is the unit of work, right? So I used to go with the testing, right? So what do you mean by testing? Don't go with the definitions. Just whatever the input you are passing, for that input, you are getting the expected output or not. That is my intention. So I need to go for a testing, right? Now, so for that, we are going with the JUnit framework, right? Now, so testing is a process of checking the functionality of an application to ensure it runs as per the requirements or not. So remember guys, JUnit is a unit testing framework for Java programming language, and it is an open source. JUnit is important in the development of test-driven development. So when that unit testing comes into the picture at developers level, so what do you mean by unit? A method is called as unit. So unit testing plays a critical role in helping a software company to deliver quality products to its customers, right? So unit testing can be done in two ways: manual testing and automated testing, right? So, and I'm not going to be in details with differences between manual testing and automated testing. So have a look into that. So as a Java developer, we do go with a automated testing, right? Again, and I'm not going to talk about black box testing, white box testing, performance testing, etc., etc. Yes, we'll share that. Don't worry, right? We'll share the notes. Okay, don't worry, guys. Okay, so, and I'm not going to talk about testing related stuff. Have a look into that. So what do you mean by manual testing, automated testing? What are all the differences between manual testing and automated testing? And what do you mean by black box testing, white box testing? So many things. Okay. Don't worry about that. Okay. So have a look into those theory concepts. So what is a unit test case? So a unit test case is a part of the code which ensures that another part of code works as expected or not. So by using test cases, we are checking that get mirror image method is working as expected or not. Okay, right. So to achieve the desired results quickly, a testing framework is required. And we have so many test frameworks are there, and we used to prefer JUnit, and it is a open source, and it is used with Java programming language. Right. Right. Now we'll start writing the JUnit test cases for this requirement. Can I start that? Guys, any question till here? Right. So now what I'm doing, and I'm going here, let's say, and I'm going to create a new package, new class, test string utility, right? And I'm going to create com.session.junit.test package in some other package, and I'm creating that. So we are enabling Java doc comments, right? So now my requirement is to test whether this get mirror image method is working as expected or not, right? So to write the test cases with JUnit framework, what you are supposed to do, we need to add that JUnit library. So to add that JUnit library, right click on that, go to build path, add libraries, select JUnit, next, go to which version of JUnit library. So I'm going with JUnit 4. So JUnit 3 is outdated one more. So you can go with JUnit 4 or JUnit 5. So initially, and I'm going with a JUnit 4. So click on finish. So JUnit libraries are getting added. Or otherwise, you can convert this project into a Maven project. So in that Maven project, you can add the JUnit dependency, right? So GRS. So what is this LTS? Okay, leave it about that. Okay. Now, so, and I'm adding that. So how you can do that? Build path, add libraries, select JUnit library, click on that, and which version of JUnit library you wanted, select that, finish. Otherwise, copy the JUnit jar files, put the JUnit jar files into build path. That is second one. Third one, convert this project into a Maven project. Convert this project into a Maven project. In that Maven project, add the JUnit dependency in pom.xml file. Okay. Now, so here, and I'm going with that. So I wanted to test get mirror image method, right? So, and I'm taking this method. So, and I'm writing public. I'm going with void method. So you can go with a method name F1, F2, whatever. But what I'm doing, and I'm going with test get mirror image method. Open flowerly brace, closing flowerly brace. So you are enabled Java documentation comments. That's why it is forcing you to add Java doc. Okay. So generally for each and every scenario, we might have one positive scenario and multiple negative scenario. You need to check positive and negative scenarios as well. So when I'm writing test positive scenario, right? So when I'm passing input, checking for input, EARTH, and I'm checking for output, that correct value, maybe EARTH, pipe symbol, HTRAE. So when I'm going for a positive scenario, right? So to test that, first you need to create an instance of the string utility, right? Otherwise, how you can access this method? So you need to create an instance of string utility. Go with that. Create an instance of string utility. Utility equal to, import that. So utility equal to a new string utility, right? Now take the input string input image, EARTH, right? Now call utility dot get mirror image method, pass input image, and what you are getting an output. So string output image, right? Now you need to test whether the returned value and the expected value will be the same or not, right? You need to test, right? Whatever the return value is up to the expectation or not, right? So to test that, we are going to use JUnit library. In that JUnit library, we have few asset methods. So we have so many asset methods: asset equals, asset that, asset null, etc. And I'm going to explain few of that. Okay, don't worry about that. Now what I'm doing, and I'm going with an asset equals method. Asset EQUALS, asset equals, right? So initially you need to import asset equal, right? In asset equals is a overloaded method, right? So you know the difference between overloading and overriding. So asset equals method with double values, long values, objects, strings, inputs, you can check whatever. So asset equals, right, ma? So what you wanted to check? You wanted to check expected value with actual value. So what is the expected value? The expected value will be this one. Right? And what is the actual value? What is the value returned by this method? So by using this asset equals, we are checking that. Hope you understood, right? So this is like a main method, right? Previously, we have implemented a main method, but here we are running that with JUnit test case. Okay. Now, so hope you understood, guys. Now, let me run this. So run as run configurations.
I think you missed our test.
Sorry?
You missed our test annotation.
Which one?
I think you need to write our test annotation that are on the top of that method, right?
Yes. Right? Now, to recognize this one as, see, the thing, you know, if at all you are going with JUnit 3 and all, you need to implement the test classes with test case class. Okay. And the method will be keep with a test keyword. Okay. Right. Just a minute. So this is with JUnit 3. Right. Now, so you are tested and the testing is passed and the actual value and expected value will be matched and you are getting test case is passed. So if you work this one with JUnit 3, if at all you are going with JUnit 4, then extending a test case class is not required and keeping this method with the test keyword is not required. And then just you need to go with it to recognize this method as a test method. You need to go with an annotation called @test annotation from org.JUnit package. So then only it will be recognized as a test case method. Then only it will be recognized as a test case method. How it will be recognized as a test case method? If it is a JUnit 3, the test case class, the testing class should extends a test case class, and the method should be kept with a keyword called test keyword. Right? Then only whatever the method you have implemented, that will be considered as a test case. If at all we are going with JUnit 4 and all, it is not required to implement extends test case class and go with a test keyword, right? Then just you can go with @test annotation. So annotations are introduced in JDK 1.5 version, right? Now then only it will be recognized as a test case method. Now right click on that, run as JUnit test, right? So test case is bar. This is our logging messages. Now here you are getting a bar and green color. That means that is worked perfectly. And here we have some log messages. So if at all any fail, you will get a fail message. Hope you understood, right? Now this is for positive scenario, right? And you can implement one more negative scenario. Now what I'm doing, and I'm going with So I'm going with get image 1. Let's say, and I'm going with negative scenario, right? Input, and I'm passing null. Okay. So output, and I'm expecting null pointer exception. Exception, right? Now, what we can do, we can check whether it is working or not, right? Now, you no need to go with set equals, right? So it should be placed in a try and catch, right? Right, and catch. So null pointer exception. Maybe you can go with SYSO statement. SYSO statement, e dot get message. Okay, right? Now this is also not required. Okay, so it should throw a null value, right? Right, now let me run this. Now, so how many test cases you passed? 2 test cases. 2 test cases are working or not, right? Now one more scenario you need to implement, right? Now, along with annotations, to check with unchecked exceptions, right? So you no need to go with handling inside of try and catches. You no need to go with handling inside of try and catches, right? So we have an alternate given. So that is along with this test annotation itself, we have an option expected equal to null pointer exception dot class. This is only possible for unchecked exceptions. Let's say, and I'm supplying some empty string. Right? Now, can I run this? Yes. 3 test cases passed. Hope you understood, guys. Now, any question till here?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question here. Here, every time we will have to change the input value.
Yes.
Is there any can we use dynamic input instead
Yes.
of
Yes.
static?
Right. So if you wanted to check with multiple inputs, right? So probably if at all you are writing online exams, that means, so whenever you are going for some companies, they will give you some coding test, right? So in coding test, they are asking us to implement some scenario, and probably they will give couple of input and output, and they ask us to write the code, and we are testing with that. But once you submitted, that code will be tested with around 5 to 10 inputs, right? Okay, combining all the scenarios, right? So how they will test with 10 or 20 inputs on a single method? So there is a concept called parameterized testing. So that is introduced with JUnit 4 version. So that we'll discuss a little later. So there is a concept called parameterized testing. Hope you understood, right?
I have one question. So
Yeah.
at the end, you are mentioned at the rate test expectation, last test case.
Yes.
Expected null pointer exception dot class.
Yes.
Can we keep same line number 44 on the top of second last test case instead of using try catch?
Yes, ma'am. So I told different ways. So
Okay,
this you can
got it.
handle, or this one. So test expected only possible for unchecked exceptions. Hope you understood, right?
It's only for
Unchecked exceptions. It is
unchecked
possible.
exception. We have to go with that line number 44.
Yes. For checked exceptions, you need to go with try catches only.
Okay. With the checked exception, it will give compile time error if you are not right try catch. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, got it.
Right. Guys, understood? Now.
Yes, there was one question for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Here you're writing, utility dot get error image, right? That method you're calling, right?
Which one?
From Yeah, from utility class, like you can see the third one, utility
Line-
dot get
Line number, can you tell me the line?
like 48.
Yes, yeah, tell me.
Okay. So while writing the test case, it will go to that method and it will perform the operation on the method. And
Yes,
what is the exception it is giving? So it is checking with that exception only, right?
yes, checked with
That meant that meant to say that we are testing our utility method.
yes.
Oh, okay.
So actually we are testing this method, right?
Yeah. This method. That is what I'm confusing there because you're writing there itself, right? At the rate expected this. For example, whatever the method it is returning, that is comparing with the above expected.
Yes. So
That's
now
good.
it is throwing an exception. Whatever the
Okay.
exception which is received, that will be tested with expected value.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if that exception thrown by this method with the help
Okay.
of this input, if it matched with null pointer exception, then only this test case is pass. Okay.
Oh, okay. The
Let's
input
say,
here itself we are sending it, right? The
so
input. Okay.
let's say here and I'm checking with array index out of bounds exception. So nowhere related. Okay. Now let me run this. So
It is failed. Okay.
based test case 2 is failed. So why it is failed? It is giving the expected is java lang dot array index out of bound exception, but it was returned with null pointer exception.
Okay.
So that's where how we are going to test.
Okay.
Understood?
Now understood. Yeah.
Good question. Otherwise, I might forgot.
Yeah, because I'm getting confusing now. Okay. Anyhow, we are only here writing null pointer exception. We are handling it itself. Then how we are comparing with the original? That is like I got confused. That's what I asked. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Good guys. Good.
I have one question, means that JUnit 5 is preferable nowadays in industry or 4?
That's what. See, so version to version, little more advantages. Most of the thing common only. Okay. Understood, guys?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
hi,
have a
sir.
quick question.
Just a minute, one by one, guys.
For every method we need to do like this only to test these scenarios, positive, negative scenario. Like
Yes.
for every method we need to do like this only, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So good, guys. So let me combine here. Till now you understood, right? So the test cases is passed. Okay. So here and I'm running this manually. Okay. So here and I'm running these test cases as manually, run as JUnit test. Okay. But through program also, we can run these test cases. Okay. That I will show you little later. Okay.
So excuse me, sir, I've just joined the class. So you have written the string utility.java already. I mean, the test cases also.
Yes.
Could you please show that?
I have written a method, get mirror image method, just a basic example. So to explain our how we are going to write the code in real time with coding standards and best practices, then how you implement logging and how we are going to perform testing. Now just started with JUnit and we are testing this method.
Okay, so thank you.
Understood, guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a question. I know you're doing a JUnit, and I was just wondering, how would you compare that with Makito? Is Makito
Yes.
like?
So Makito and all will add little later. So this is Makito is little bit advanced and it internally uses JUnit scenarios only. So right now we are in a basic JUnit session. Okay.
Okay.
Got it? So that will cover in next session. Okay.
Yeah, here I have a question.
Yeah.
Method to get mirror image 1 and get mirror image 2.
So
there we don't have any method, right?
Can you tell me the line number, please?
I mean, we don't have any assertion equal or null something, right? How we are testing it, whether it's test
so
case
asset null.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a few more asset methods. So asset equals.
No. My question is okay. Here we are calling the method. So whether it is throwing null pointer exception or not, we are not checking that one. What is the expected output? Okay, whether it is matching the expected output.
That's what we are checking the expected output. No, the expected for this input, the expectation is null pointer exception.
Okay, that is empty string. It will not throw null pointer exception, right?
No, here we are implementing the code like this. Here.
Oh, it's empty. Okay.
So I don't have any user defined exception. So for the small scenario, and I'm not implemented. So just an empty string also, and I'm considering here as a null pointer.
Got it. What about the second method? There we don't have, right? Expected.
This one, right? Now control is automatically coming to this catch block.
Catch block. It is coming to catch block.
Yes. So once it is run, got it? So we are checking whether control is automatically coming to here or not. Yes.
Yeah, control is coming, but we are not comparing with expected value, right?
That's what the expected is null point exception only. So if it is thrown error, then it obviously it is going to this catch block. Okay. So whether control is going to catch block or not, that we are testing here.
Okay. Is it not mandatory like expected value is this? We need to compare.
That's what. See, that's where we can go with this expected, or otherwise, if at all we are going with user defined exception. So we have an assertion called fail assertion. So I will explain you with that. Okay. Otherwise, you guys could might have get confused with a scenario, with a project scenario. We'll explain. Okay.
Sure.
So
because
I totally understood your question.
Yeah, because how JUnit framework will get to know like what is expected value and what is the what we have passed. So yeah, this is
that's what. So this is our pure assumption, right? If at all you are passing null value, it should have catch. It will go to this catch block. Let's say, right? So there is a fail assertion. Okay. So if the control is coming to this catch block exception, then it will make the test case fail. Okay. Understood? So my requirement, the control should be come to this catch block. Understood, guys? So if the control is come to this catch block, the test case is pass. If the control is coming to this catch block, we are making this test case is failed. Okay. This is one way to check that. Otherwise, with user defined exceptions, I will explain. So how to deal with that. Okay. Hope you understood, guys.
Yeah.
Right. Now, just we covered. Just a minute. Just we covered how to write JUnit test cases, right? Understood, guys? Now, so next we need to check code coverage, right? So to check the code, how many lines of code is covered as part of our written test cases? We are going to use a plugin called ECL Emma plugin. We are going to use a plugin called that ECL Emma plugin. So that plugin is already available with most of the recent Eclipses and all. Otherwise, you can add this plugin with the help of. So how to add plugins? How to add plugins? Eclipse Marketplace. If it is not there, you can search the plugin and you can add that plugin. Anyhow, that plugin is already available with my latest one.
Just like Play Store app.
Yes. Just a minute. No? It's loading. Right. So whatever the plugins you need, we can mention ECL Emma plugin, right? So you will get the official documentation. No? You can go through the documentation in net and all. Okay. So So already installed. If you wanted to install, click on install. Maybe if you wanted to update, it will show you the options. So this is the way how you can. Okay. So already I have a ECL EMMA plugin. So then what you are supposed to do on the test class, coverage as, you need to click on coverage as JUnit test. Now what happened? It will run all the tests and it will go to the regular class and it will show you how many lines of code is covered as part of your returned test cases. That green color means all lines of code is covered. That green lines means that all lines of code is covered as part of your returned implementation test cases. Let's say what I'm doing. So, and I'm not taking about 2 test cases, right? No, just for sample. Now coverage as. Now go to here. See here, ma. This green color lines means code is covered as part of your written test cases. And this red color means this line of code is not covered as part of your written test cases. So what you are supposed to do, you need to make sure these lines of code also covered by implementing more number of test cases, Now what I'm doing, so go here, Control Z. So, and I'm going for only null value and I'm not going with empty string. Now let me run this coverage as. Now see here, go to see here. So throw null pointer exception line is also covered. This line also covered, but see here, if condition is not covered and it is showing yellow color, means maybe one more scenario need to be covered by improving the number of test cases. So this is the suggestions given by code coverage reports. Right? Now run here. Now with the help of all these test cases, all lines of code is covered or not? Hope you understood, guys.
Yeah, it's very useful, right?
Right.
So here itself, we can identify how many test cases we can write.
Give me a minute. Good point. Right. Now let me show you. So you will get that in that official documentation, right, man? I'm not going to concentrate on the theory concept, ECL EMMA. You will get little bit documentation here, right? Understood, guys? How to analyze and all. And one more thing, this coverage will give you reports. This will give you a report. Now expand here. So it will show you how many lines of code is covered as part of your written test cases. And you are having an option to export this also. This report you can export also. Export session, in which format you wanted. You wanted in HTML report, or you wanted XML file, or you wanted HTML report with zip format or JUnit data, something like that. So you can select that and which place you wanted. Desktop, just click on that and it will give you that report as well. Now somewhere else you might get the report based on the location you have given. Just give me a minute more. Maybe what is the location which I have selected here? HTML report UI get. or otherwise let me go with some other location.
It's gone in OneDrive, I think.
OneDrive, it went to OneDrive. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Will give you that code coverage in a report. So you can do it in whichever the format you wanted. So it will give you an Excel sheet, something like that. So these are all the things you need to be concentrated. So what are all the things as a lead or program delivery manager I might consider? So whether business requirement is satisfied or not, developed with respect to TDD test-driven development or not, JUnit test cases are completed or not, coding standards and best practices are followed or not, logging is implemented or not, code coverage is done or not, right? Now, don't you think this code is completed? This is the way how we are going to implement. This is the way how we are going to implement. Guys, understood till now?
Yes. Sir, I have a question here.
Yeah.
In this method, get mirror image, it is returning a string. If it is returning void, if it is not returning anything, we are going to use void. At that time, what is the approach? Like, are we going to use assert equals?
No. Those won't work, ma'am. So what you are supposed to do? So you need to go with some alternate mechanism that I will cover in next session. So why? Because people might get confused here.
Okay, thank you.
So I have that point in mind, but so it takes little time to come to that.
And also, if the method not taking any inputs,
yes, we can do that, right? So just you can call and what is the expected output you can check. Let's say you are going with a print line method and it should print a line with 5 or 4 characters or something like that. You can go with the alternate. Okay.
Sir, while testing, the control comes to the original class and tests, and otherwise.
Yes. No, the control will come to original class and execute that method and get the result and compare the result with our expected value, right?
Okay.
So it's like a main method only.
Okay.
Hope you understood, right?
Yes, sir.
So the couple of pointers in mind, so it will come in next session. One is how to test void methods. That is one, and one more parameterized testing.
That mock object mocking dependency.
Mocking it won't cover in this session, so this is only for plain JUnit only. Okay.
Is there any new session again?
So that will plan little later. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can we discuss the difference between Mockitals and JUnit only?
That's
what is the difference?
So that we'll discuss in a next session. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So
in total, how many sessions?
Right. So one more session will be there. Okay.
Next weekend or in days?
That will inform. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So give me a minute. So few more minutes. Okay. Right. So till now understood, right? Till now understood, right?
Yes.
So tomorrow also there is a session, right?
Yeah, that will be informed. Give me some time. Our team will communicate with you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Go to JUnit tutorial. Just for basic notes, you can go with the JUnit tutorial, guys, in tutorials point. So uses, etc. JUnit API and what are all the things needed and what are all the asset methods are there. So these all maximum I will cover with a activity with collections activity I will cover in next session. Okay. So how to use these methods, right? And I will cover that parameterized testing. And if you want to ignore a few test cases, so just you can go with the few more annotations, like by adding a @ annotation. Okay. And maybe if you wanted to test with the time, so in how many milliseconds it should be compared, maybe 60 milliseconds or something like that. So for doing the performance testing and all, we are having the annotations, and we are having that asset methods. Just these theory, you can go through that. Okay. And what do you mean by test to suit? I will cover in next session. And how to execute tests. Just we are run as JUnit test, right? So generally you can go with test runner as well. Okay, just give me a minute. So here what we used to do, and I'm running directly, right? Run as JUnit and all. What we can do like this, instead of that, we can go like this. Just give me a minute. No? So we can go with the class name is right. You can run from test runner. Okay. So all the test cases will run. So by using JUnit core dot run classes, and whichever you wanted to run, whichever the class you wanted to run, you can make use of that. Okay. So in next session, what I'm used to do, I used to cover with a little more real-time scenario with a collections activity. So before that, I will explain what is that activity all about. So what are all the methods? Let's say, so I have a method add address entry, right? So it is going to add some address. So if it is a duplicate, it should throw duplicate address exception, right? So if you wanted to remove an address, it will do that. So with a real-time scenario, we'll explain. So today, just I thought of covering a basic examples. Okay. So these real-time scenarios we'll cover once you are done with the basic preparation. So we have one more session on JUnit, guys. Okay. So I don't want to make you confused with all the scenarios on a single day. Okay. Maybe probably few guys might have already little knowledge on JUnit. Few might have new to that. That's why I'm not covering the real-time scenario. Just today, I introduce you to the coding environment, how best we are able to run the code, develop the code in real-time environment, and how you start JUnit testing with a basic example. Hope you understood.
Sir, this is a course. How many days?
So one more session will be there. One more 2 to 4 hour session might be there. Okay.
For explaining microservices, Spring Boot related JUnit code, right?
No.
Means for that any other course?
For that we'll add later. Okay. So those will come with Microservices and all that we'll add little later. So this session agenda is basically to introduce with JUnit. Yes, that course will come. So I'm a full stack Java trainer and mentor. So myself, Srinivas Reddy Charla, and having around 14 years of training experience, and done with trainings in Cognizant and Sonata, HCL, Tech Mahindra, Mar Labs, Infosys, etc., etc. So those details will share from our admin team. Okay. So continuous sessions will come from my side. And once that planning need to be done, that information will be passed to you guys from our admin department. Okay. Adi, is it fine?
Your videos available in YouTube. You have one channel, I think, right?
So that is a basic channel, ma. So I have posted only a couple of videos. Why? Because so I'm not supposed to, right? And I'm working in some other big MNCs. Okay, so those videos posted 3 years back. Okay, so those sessions will be recordings and all uploaded and given by our Ashok IT team. You guys will contact our admin team. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Will you this session upload on YouTube so that?
That's what you can contact our admin department. Those guys will help you out with this. Okay.
Yeah. I am new here. May I know what type of courses you are taking in Ashok IT?
That's what. So just today started with the JUnit workshop. So in a couple of days, we'll continuously start with from core Java to Spring Boot and microservices. So core and advanced Oracle and PLC.
I am impressed with the way you teach today.
Sorry?
I am impressed today the way you are teaching, explaining concepts. So I am really interested.
Yeah,
please,
thanks.
Let me know if you are taking Spring Boot and AWS integration, something like that.
Thank you, Sachin. I'm glad. Okay, so we'll continuously go with the sessions, ma. So our team will plan the sessions based on my timing and our timing, and they will post the training calendar. Okay. Thanks, guys.
They send an email as a day to day at the same time.
Sorry, come again.
They send an email.
Yeah.
The same timing was there for JUnit testing as a workshop for 2 more days.
Yes, that's what. So give me some time. Our team will give you the entire details. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. Good night. Thank you.
Yeah. So guys, any
Thanks
more
a lot.
questions? Hope you guys enjoyed my session, right?
So you have started, you are going to start any course, new course?
Sorry.
You are going to start any new course in Ashok IT?
Which course?
Like in Spring Boot or a JUnit?
Yes, ma. So we are planning in that. So you will get continuous sessions from my side, and that planning needs to be done. It will take in a couple of days. So once that planning is done, our admin team will post you the timing, trainings, etc. with offline or online, anything. So that will be updated by our team, guys. Okay, just to give a couple of days for us. So our team will coordinate and will plan and will publish the training calendar of mine. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, understood?
Yeah.
So hope everyone enjoyed my session, right?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks for wonderful feedback.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
In the Java full stack development course, are you teaching the JUnit as well?
Yes.
It will cover, right? In that course, part of the course.
Yes, it will cover.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, how to write test cases for void method as like?
That's what now I told I will cover in next session. Okay. So I don't want to give much content in a single session. Why? Because everyone will might confuse. Why? Because JUnit and covering a few more real-time scenarios, it might take a few more sessions. Okay.
Okay. So it's a weekend only or?
Give me a couple of sometime our team will update you. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll plan and we'll update. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about that.
Srinivas, one doubt here.
Yeah.
That code coverage, right? Will it check even the test classes? Somewhere I had seen in a test class.
Yes, it will test in test classes as well, but we are not considering it. So we'll be checking only our business functionality.
Yeah, we won't consider. What about the report? Will report consider that or report?
That report will give you this coverage, but the thing, no one will consider about this one. People, we need to consider about our actual code only.
In a report, how can we avoid in that case? In general, right? In a report,
no, see, in report, in which package, which class it will cover, it will display everything. Okay.
Okay.
Understood, right?
I got it, but some scenarios I had seen, but our testing coverage should be some 80% or
90%. That's
Yeah.
what that percentage we need to make sure 95 plus more. So, and in that coverage, we no need to consider about test classes. We are considering about only our actual business logic.
Okay, even report will get generated based on actual classes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It includes every package. Okay. But we are considering only, see here it will show only 75%, but it is not our requirement. Our requirement is to test string utility class. In string utility class, how much percentage is covered? Okay.
Okay.
And like that, we are creating a test suite. With the help of test suite, what are all the integration classes needs to be tested, will test, and total report will be generated like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, are you going to share the source code with us and the notes which
Yes,
you
we'll be sharing. Right.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So thanks, guys. So any more questions? Okay, guys. So thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. So we'll be winding the session and we'll communicate about the next session. Okay. Yeah.